What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Your Ex Drinking Buddy with me, your host, Brennan Tassif. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Full video available there. Check out the merch store. Look at all this stuff. We got all this stuff on the merch store. It's all available on the website, BrennanTComedy.com. You can also get my tour dates there. Every show that I have coming up, I'm going to be in New York, traveling the country, doing a bunch of gigs. So check it out. Get tickets at BrennanTComedy.com. Check out the merch store. And lastly, if you really want to support, go to www.patreon.com/BrennanTComedy. And that is where you can find Tales from the Restaurant, where I divulge everything about the celebrities I wait on. And also a little bit of behind the scenes. You'll also get the episodes early, a bunch of bonus episodes. Check it all out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the episode.
Grab me a beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Your Ex Drinking Buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. This is my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do. Hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Yeah. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from New York City, Zach Braviette.
What's up? Thanks for having me, dude.
What's up, dude?
That makes so much sense now. When I was like, "Are you gonna have a beer?" and you're like, "No." I'm like, all right.
I was like, "Nah, my sponsor gets weird about it."
Yeah, fair enough.
Dude, before we get too far into anything, plug everything up front. Social media. This will come out this week. So anything you got coming up in the end of August, whatever.
Okay. You just follow me on Instagram. I'm at Zachary Unlimited. I'm posting every day, even though it sucks. I'm doing it
Every day we got to do it.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I got going on right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
trying to build the Instagram.
Just doing the thing. Yeah.
You know.
I wanted to talk. We met years ago.
Yeah.
When I first moved to New York in like 2021, 2022, around that time.
Yeah.
We met. Doing mics and things like that in the city. And I try to get you on the podcast, and our schedule just kind of always like, and it's one of those things where I'll reach out to someone and they're like, I'm actually like busy this month. Hit me next month. But then I just forget.
Yeah.
And then I was scrolling and you popped up on my feed because you're posting every day.
Hey.
And then I was like, oh shit, I got to get Zach on. Yeah. And now we got you on. When did you, because you're originally from Nebraska.
Correct.
When did you decide to move to New York?
January 22.
Okay, so that's when we would have met. Yeah,
when I first moved here, also.
Yeah. So because I moved in July of 21, so you would have been right behind. Yeah. So before we get too far into anything, before we get into all the crazy stories that you sent me and everything like that, the one question I always ask anybody who's in entertainment or the arts:
sure,
how did you get into stand-up?
Yeah. So, dude, I feel like a lot of people have really crazy, cool stories, and mine is just kind of basic. Like in middle school, they first start asking you, like, what do you think you want to do for a career? You got to start thinking about, like, your future and a job.
Which is insane to ask a middle schooler.
Oh, yeah. 7th grade, they're like, you're going to have to pay taxes one day, so figure out how you're going to do that. And I didn't want to work. I was like, I don't want to have a job. But if I have to have any job, I want to do stand-up.
How did you find stand-up?
Because
it's a very niche thing.
Yeah, I watched it a shit ton. My stepdad got me into it.
Okay.
He would listen to like Patton Oswalt, Bill Burr, Louis C.K.
Because you're much younger than me, so you would have had like YouTube and all that kind of stuff to find it as well.
And so I started listening to it with him, and then I would just be like playing PlayStation, and I'd have Pandora stand-up playing while I was playing PlayStation.
That's awesome.
And so I was just listening to comedy all the time, like watching every Louis thing that ever came out. And
so then in 7th grade, you were like, I want to do
I want to do stand-up comedy. And I was always like the class clown kind of kid. I feel like it's a very typical story for comics. And I knew I wanted to do it. I was just waiting till I was 21 so I could do like an open mic at a bar.
Yeah.
And then when I was 20, my uncle, he was like, "What do you want to do with your life?" It's like, "Oh, I want to do comedy." He's
So
like,
wait,
"Cool."
at that, I want to interject real quick.
Sure, sure.
At that point, are you like off at college? Are you like what happened?
Yeah,
Like,
I was in
Why
college.
is your uncle coming to you being like, "What are you going to do with your life?"
Well, because I was.
I don't know why I made you Italian. Your
My
uncle,
uncle Italian.
an Italian man from Jersey. Hey kid, what are you doing?
gonna do with your life? That's so funny. No, he's a ex-Marine from Nebraska.
Okay,
so,
there we go.
yeah, very gruff, but not too far.
Yeah,
off.
my voice wasn't
Imagine
too
the
far.
Midwest version of what you
What I
just
just
did,
did, yeah.
and that's actually pretty fucking spot on.
Nailed it.
Yeah. I was dating this girl I didn't really like at the time, and
We've all been there.
yeah, bro, everyone. Until I find my Asian baddie, but
We're searching.
we're searching. And I had just transferred schools, so I was still going to school, but it was like the local whatever school.
Okay, yeah.
And I was just talking to him. My uncle's actually cool as fuck. We did mushrooms together and we're hanging out.
There you go.
And he's like, "What do you want to do with your life?"
Oh, so he asked it
And-
like that.
You
You guys are doing shrooms, hanging out, and so he
Yeah.
asked it in like an exploratory
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
not in like a disciplinary sort of
exactly.
way.
Yeah.
Got it.
I probably whatever. I can't say that. Who cares?
Hang on.
No.
All right, I got it marked.
I've-
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case I get a text and you're like, "Hey, you know that very first story we opened with?
Yeah.
Take that out."
You know what? I'm never that kind of guy. I feel like I'm super, super open book, and it's like whatever.
I'm actually the same way. The only problem is I'm very open. This is something I've had to learn the distinction.
Sure.
I'm very open about me
Yeah.
and my life, but sometimes I will drag other people.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, why did you
they're
tell
like,
me that
why
story
are
about
you
me?"
telling the story about? Yeah, and I'm like, well, I was just telling a story what happened to me. They're like, yeah, but you explicitly talked about me being
You
there.
said
And
my
I'm-
full name
Yeah.
and birth date and address.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
What, you don't want your kids to know that we were doing acid?
Yeah. No, I do that shit too.
So
So yeah,
your uncle asks you what you want to do with your life in a very
Yeah.
caring, loving way, just in
Yes.
case we have to edit that out so people don't understand.
and he, I was like, "Well, I want to do comedy." He's like, "Well, why aren't you doing it right now?" And I said, "Well, I have to be 21 to get into a bar to do an open mic." And that he reached out to a friend that he had that had done like a couple open mics. And he was like, "No, bring him next week."
So this is an interesting point that you bring up. And I've had you'll be 308 or 307. I've had a lot of people on this show, and it's mainly comics. The two biggest responses I get about starting stand-up is the first one, number one, why did you start stand-up is I went to an open mic and everyone sucked. And I was like, I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
The second one about starting later is exactly what you're describing. It's like, well, I had to be 18 or I had to be 21 in order to get to the places to do it.
Yeah.
And then when they show up, they'll see like a 17-year-old and they're like, no, as long as you're performing, you can be whatever. And
Yeah.
they're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh damn, dude, I wasted so much time." But
How'd it go? The first
First
mic,
one?
20 years old,
dude,
friend of your uncle's.
so crazy. And I this sounds so dickish of me, but it was amazing. I did it so
Yes.
well. Second set was mediocre. Third set, I ate it
Yeah.
so hard. And then 2 comics later, the guy went up after me and made fun of me for eating it
For
so hard.
bombing so bad.
And it crushed. And oh, dude, that was
breaks your
that was
heart.
the dagger.
That
That's
breaks
what I
your
was
heart.
like, oh.
So first one goes well. This is in Nebraska?
Yeah.
And then where? It's just a bar? Are there people there?
Yeah, it was
What's
just a
going
bar.
on? Okay.
And it was a mixed. Oh, so this is a fun story. So it's just a mixed open mic.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
Big town, small town. Where'd you grow up?
Omaha.
Omaha,
So
okay, yeah.
big for Nebraska.
Yeah.
New York would laugh at it.
No, but Omaha's a place where if you say I'm from Omaha, people are
Be
like,
like,
oh
yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. and
Cornhuskers are where?
So yes, that's our
Lincoln.
state.
Yeah.
But Lincoln, the
Lincoln.
city is the Cornhuskers.
How far away is Lincoln from
45
Omaha?
minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we all go for the Cornhuskers.
Yeah.
We don't have any pro teams either, so
Oh,
like
shit,
that's
yeah.
life. You know what I mean? We've got
Cornhuskers is life.
Cornhuskers, Warren Buffett, Larry the Cable Guy,
Dan. Love Dan.
yeah, Terrence Crawford.
That's Larry the Cable Guy's real name for those of you listening. Dan.
You know
Did
your stuff. I actually didn't know that.
You kind of glossed over, and I was like, he has no
Yeah,
idea. So
no, I didn't know.
I'll say it to the audience just so you get it too.
Wow,
Yeah,
you're
his real
teaching me
name is
shit
Dan.
about my own stuff. Where was I? Oh, it was mixed open mic.
Yeah.
And the girl that goes up before me, this is my first time ever doing comedy, right? Girl that goes up before me, I'm second. She's first. She does a 5-minute poem about her best friend raping her.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they're like, "All right, now Zach's gonna tell some jokes, guys." And I was like, "Dude, like I couldn't have been set up
So many things.
worse."
First of all, I don't think we use the term best friend after that thing happens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I feel like that kind of ends the friendship.
Yeah. arch nemesis now.
Yeah.
And also, but you said it went well. So did you just like? Did you? I want to ask two things. Did you have stuff written?
Yes.
And because you had
Completely
talked about
written.
doing comedy, was it? This is the second question. Was it stuff you had accumulated over the course of like since you were in 7th grade thinking about doing stand up?
No. So
Okay.
I never thought about bits.
So you just
Ever.
wanted to do stand up,
Yeah.
but you didn't do any. It's like when people are like, I want to play pro sports. It's like, why aren't you practicing? Figure it out.
Yeah. And then when it came time to like, I'm going to do my first open mic, I was like, all right, let me write something. And I wrote like a story that was half true, half made up.
Yeah.
And
You're an artist.
you got to embellish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was clearly nervous. Obviously, it was my first time. And I opened up with like the cheesiest, dumbest thing.
What
but
was it?
I just said like, I'm pretty nervous. I jerked off in the bathroom before this to see if that would help, but it didn't. And people were like, ah.
Did they know it was your first time? Did you?
Yeah.
You gotta. This is for anyone out there whoever is thinking about doing comedy. Your first 15 to 20 open mics. This is one of my first times on stage,
Yeah.
and then everyone's gonna give you so much grace.
Yeah.
The only problem in New York when you do that is if I've seen you at 3 different open mics and you're still doing that, I'm like, you fucking better
you're
figure it
full of
out.
shit.
You're
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah. Dude, there's one time I did a similar thing at the Pear, and I was, again, tripping on mushrooms. And I
You
just,
like mushrooms?
I used to really like them. I've kind of chilled out on everything.
Okay,
and
we'll get into it.
Last
Yeah.
couple of years.
So you're on mushrooms at the Pear.
And I just went on stage and I was like, guys, I got to be real honest with you. I'm tripping on mushrooms right now.
Crushed.
And everyone just, yeah. And it was one of the best sets I've ever had in my life.
Crushed.
Which thank God, because
Did you film
bombing on, no.
Oh.
Bombing on mushrooms would have been,
Oh, terrifying.
dude.
I've never done any
shook me to my
hallucinogenics
core.
at all because people are always like, you have to be in a good headspace. And I was like, I'm a comic. I've never been in a good headspace ever in my life.
Well, that's why I like the drugs, because they put me in a good
Oh,
headspace.
okay.
You know what I mean?
People are always like, oh, if you're anxious, you should probably stay away from psychedelics. And I was like, those are out then. And
Yeah.
I've done cocaine, obviously drank a shit ton, weed, heroin, like crack. I've done all that stuff.
Yeah.
But psychedelics, I was like, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm too scared.
Dude, it's
Hey,
so
Brennan, snort this. Okay.
yeah, it's so funny to be
Yeah. But then someone's like, here's some mushrooms. And I'm like, I'm scared.
Where did that come from? The ground? No, thank you.
Dude, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
out. So for you, crush the first one, second one okay, third one bombed. Do you have the itch at this point? Are you like, oh, I'm going to New York, I'm doing stand up? Or are you like, I'm gonna finish school and like do
so
all
dude,
this?
I was kind of a bitch when I was younger. I'll be honest about it. And I had this girlfriend that I made like my whole life, and she was controlling, and it was
The one you
whatever.
didn't like.
The one I didn't
Yeah.
like, but still dated for like almost 5 years.
No.
Get me in there, brother. You know, when you're in your early 20s and you have a girl throwing you consistent ass, it is so hard to walk away.
Well, the other thing too is when you're in your early 20s, you think time is irrelevant.
Yeah, because you're like, I have so much of it, it doesn't matter.
There's no and I know that just as a little sidebar, like when I met my now wife and we have a kid together and obviously this nice apartment and all this stuff, and it's like we built a life together. I was at 36, 37, and she was 34, 35. So it was one of those things where it's like, all right, all the cards on the table. You know, I'm a recovering addict. I lived in a halfway house. I've been arrested 8 times. I've been incarcerated. I want kids. This is my life.
Yeah.
Because neither of us had time to be like, oh my God, what do you think about this outfit? Like, it's like, we got to go now.
Yeah, if we're going to do
gotta
this, we
figure
got to
this
fucking
out.
do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But when you're in your 20s, because I've been in, just off the top of my head, I know of one relationship, 4.5 years, same thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
6 months in, you're like, oh, there's no way this is like the mother of my children. But you're like, she's hot. I got time, whatever.
Yeah, dude, that was the thing, is she was really hot. Dude, I've told you I'm trying to get an Asian girl. My
Yes.
type is like light skinned black girls.
Okay.
They're so hot to me, and that was her.
Yeah.
And
And you're like, I don't care about your personality
yeah,
at all.
because she was also like super down.
Yeah.
And so she was really hot, and she was always down to have sex with me. And
you're like, cool.
And I was like,
We're in Nebraska. What are we doing?
A dumb early,
Yeah.
dumb 18-year-old, 20-year-old. It's like, yeah, sick, whatever. Let's write it out.
So what happens? So you're 20
Yeah.
and you're doing mics, but you also have this relationship, which isn't awesome.
Yeah. And so I set it down for a little bit. I'd go do it like occasionally,
Yeah.
but I wasn't serious about it. Then that girl, I broke up. I dated another girl. proposed to her.
Wow.
She said no.
Yeah.
And we picked the ring out that I asked with 2 weeks before. She said no. And so.
Whoa. You can't skid over that. So you went ring shopping.
Yeah. And then 2
She
weeks later,
picked
I
out
asked,
a ring.
and she's like, nah. And
What was her reasoning?
she just said that it wasn't the right time. And then we broke up. And then 6 months later, she was engaged to somebody else.
Why? Whose idea was it to go
She
ring
was
shopping?
Latina. So.
Whose idea was it to go ring shopping?
It was mutual. I think maybe
Zach. Whose idea was it to go ring
I
shopping?
think I brought it up, and she was
Okay.
like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Okay.
So I don't remember honestly. It was. So
I was
long
gonna
ago.
say, if she said, "Let's go," we need to go ring shopping, and then said no, that would have been insane. But
Yeah.
the fact that you were kind of like, "Hey, yeah, let's do that," like that's a good idea,
Yeah.
and then she said no, because in the moment you're kind of, we've all been there. In the
Yeah.
moment you're like, "Yeah, great idea," and then you walk away being like, "Shit."
Yep. And I was the shit moment.
So, and at this point, you're just still. How long did you date her?
Year and a half.
Okay, so now at this point you're 22.
20. It's 24. It's about.
Oh, because you were in that other
Yeah.
relationship even longer.
Yeah, it was 18 to 22 and a half with
Yeah.
that one, and then 23 to 24, almost 25 with this one.
Okay, so then what happens after you get out of this relationship?
So I was so like just crushed, right?
Yeah.
I had a moment
This
where
is the
like,
third open mic all over again.
Yeah, dude. I was
Just
just
heart ripped
life.
out.
Yeah. And I had a moment where I tried to move to New York. I lived here for a week and had to go back home because I was like, I don't have any savings. I don't have a credit score. I don't have a job.
Wait a second. I'm gonna keep doing this because I'm obsessed with little details.
Yeah.
So what happens? You decide like I'm gonna go to.
So we break up. She says no, and I'm heartbroken. I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I've always wanted to live in New York. Let's do it.
Did you want to live in New York for stand up, or did you just always want to live in
I
New
just
York?
always want to live in New
Okay.
York. Because I also wanted to do film stuff too. So when I wasn't focusing as heavy on stand up, I was focusing on film
What are you
shit.
doing for money at this point?
During,
Are you like working side jobs?
No,
Are you
I
working
was
at like a restaurant?
I had like
or-
a job. It was nice. I did video production for a healthcare company.
Okay, so you finished school?
I finished school. I had like my first job. I
Yeah,
was like, we're
okay.
doing it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna marry this
I'm
chick.
living in
making
Nebraska.
money. Yeah,
I'm gonna get married to this girl.
Yep. And so she breaks up with me, and I was like, yep, fuck it. I'm gonna move to New York.
So how did that happen? Did you? I understand the. I want to know about the logistics.
Sure.
Do you tell your parents, "Hey, I'm going to go to New York"? Do you have money saved? Do you sign a lease? Like,
I
what are all the
literally
things?
emotional decision. I had a friend who was living here, and he's like, yeah, you can crash on my floor for like a month until you get it figured out. And
Where was your friend living?
Bed-Stuy.
Okay.
And
Shout out Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't talk to that friend anymore. Good friend, but
Yeah.
you know,
People
pass-
drifted.
Yeah, people drift. And I literally emotionally just bought a ticket, and I told my parents like I'm moving next week.
So okay, so that makes a lot more sense because I have friends, people who've been on this podcast that were cautionary tales to me before I moved to New York because it was a situation where they had everything, but it was all sight unseen. I found this apartment on Craigslist. I'm going, they were obviously they're comics and they're like, boy, oh boy, we're chasing the dream. And then they got here and it was like a flooded basement apartment, or it was like there was rats in the walls, or like something like that. And they're like, fuck, I can't be here. And then they just turned around and came back.
Yep.
So I didn't know, but for you, a little more stable. It was a friend, so you could at least trust that, like, hey, I know it might not be a nice apartment, but at least I'm staying with someone I know.
Yeah, I've got a floor to sleep on.
Yeah, exactly. And
But-
so you got here, would you say a week or a weekend?
I was here for a week and 5 days, not even a full week. And I, yeah. And it became so clear to me, like,
Did you quit your job?
Yeah, everything. And it was so funny.
You
I
had a
left
runway,
Monday
though.
and I texted a friend back home Saturday, like, hey, you want to hang out? And he's like, didn't you just move to New York Monday? I was like, yeah, I'm back already.
So when you get here, because you do have a runway, your friend said you could stay there for 30 days.
Right.
So you do have a little bit of a runway, but you didn't have anything saved. So
Yeah.
like just getting lunch, you're like, I'm fucked.
Yeah, that, and I had no credit score. And every apartment's like, you need such and such credit score.
Did you
I'd
find
never had
a
credit
job
card
in the
before in
first,
my
like,
life.
so when you land, you
Mhm.
go hang out with your friend. I'm sure you guys like hang out that day. The next day, are you like job hunting and looking for apartments? Like, what are you doing?
I went and interviewed with a temp company who sent me like a skill set thing to fill out.
Yeah.
And I was doing it and I was like, this all sucks. I had a good job back home and now I'm doing this bullshit.
Do
I'm
you
sleeping
call
on
the
floor.
job to be like, hey guys, I made a terrible mistake?
So what happened after that is COVID hit.
Oh.
And so I moved back home and I was doing a little bit of stuff for that company again.
Okay.
because I was only gone for a week. And
Yeah.
so they're like, yeah, whatever.
They're like, you could have just used your PTO,
Yeah.
Zach. You didn't have to take. You didn't have to make a big scene about it.
I was an independent contractor anyway, so
Okay.
they were just like, yeah, sure, come. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was nothing. But I had a moment where I was back home after trying to live in New York. I was.
Did you feel like a failure?
Dude, I literally, so I was super overweight. I had no car, no money, no girlfriend, no job. I'm, just graduated and I'm living in my parents' house. And I literally looked in the mirror at myself and was like, I gotta fix my fucking life.
Yeah.
And so I wrote 2020 was the only New Year's resolution I've ever stuck with.
What was it?
I said, I'm gonna get serious about stand up.
There you go.
And so starting November 2019, I started doing it.
Were you guys
And-
shut down in Nebraska?
We kind of shut down.
Yeah,
not
same.
really.
I'm from Florida, and it's
Yeah.
like I had friends, obviously, West Coast in LA and then in New York, and we would talk. I was back to work in July
Yeah.
of 2020. So shutdown happens in March, April, May, June. By July, I was back at the restaurant in Florida.
Yep.
And I talked to my friends in New York and LA, and they would be like, yeah, we're still locked. We're still on a curfew. I was like, curfew? I have to fucking close tonight at the
Yeah.
restaurant. I'm going to be here forever. What are you
Yeah.
talking about, curfew? So yeah, it was a very, because I remember I got COVID Christmas of 2019 or maybe 2020.
Same, actually.
Yeah, no,
yeah, I got
because
it. Before they
20
even really knew what it was,
I'm
I
sorry.
had it. Yeah.
Mine was 2020 because it was after all the shutdowns and stuff.
Oh,
When
gotcha.
things started reopening,
Mhm.
I did a show for 250 people
Yeah.
in a closed space,
Mm-hmm.
like indoors. And people were so excited just to be out again. Everyone was just talking the whole time. No one was listening to stand up. This was like December
damn.
20th.
Yeah.
And I just ate a fucking dick for 10, 15, no, I think I did 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And just bombed.
Yep.
The headliner went up, who's one of my best friends in the world, Marcus Crespo. And he was supposed to do an hour, and they lit him after 40 minutes. Not because he's awesome, but it was just no one was paying attention.
No one gave a fuck.
No one was even paying. It was literally just an excuse to go out. But I remember I got home. This must have been on the 22nd. Christmas Eve, I spent with my family. 23rd, all of a sudden I can't taste anything. I realize I'm eating dinner and I can't taste or smell anything. And I go and I got COVID from that fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm calling my
From the
family.
thing you bombed at.
Yeah. And I'm calling my family freaking out. I was with grandma for
Yeah.
Christmas. Is everyone okay? Everyone was fine, thank God. But at the same time, I was like, oh shit, maybe they got it right in the big cities being like, hey, maybe we should relax
Chill
on
for a little
going
bit.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, COVID hits, you look in the mirror and you're like, we're going to fucking fix this going
Yeah.
into 2021.
Yeah.
And so
no,
then-
going into 2020.
Going into 2020.
Yeah.
So then what happens?
I start doing comedy seriously. I start hitting the gym 2 hours a day, every day. I got back in that place that I used to
Yeah.
work. And then I got let go for COVID, but I was making unemployment money, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And
That was the thing. If you would have told me, no, I moved to New York, quit my job, and then COVID hit, because you technically weren't a resident in New York, but you no longer had a job in Nebraska, you would have just been up the river.
Yeah.
Without you would have been like, hey, guys, someone's got to give me money.
Yeah, I need it from somewhere. But luckily, I was able to live at home with my parents and collect that sweet, sweet government money.
Yeah.
And so COVID was actually sick for me. I was working out a bunch. I was doing a bunch of comedy, hanging out with my friends all the
I've
time.
talked to so many people on the show where that's the exact
Yeah.
response. It's I know it was very traumatic for a lot of people, but for
I
me
had
personally,
such a good time. We had bonfires all the time, drinking beers on the roof.
Yeah.
It was great. And I started casually seeing girls. So I was,
Were you done with long term?
yeah.
Okay.
But then comedy in the Midwest, if you want to take it seriously at all, you leave
You have
pretty
to.
quickly.
Same thing in
And
Florida.
yeah, and so you do it for 6 months. You're a veteran. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I was doing it, and maybe 6 months in, I was like, you know what? When things close down, I'm gonna move to New York for real this
Open
time.
up.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. When things open
Yeah.
up again, I'm moving to New York for real this time.
So it's interesting you say that because I kind of said it as a throwaway thing, same thing in Florida, but I do want to edit that. I'm sure in the Midwest, just like in Florida, you can make a lot of money being a vet comic
That
touring
is-
around.
yeah.
Because I do have friends that do that, so I don't want
They
to
go to
knock
little
that.
small towns.
Yeah.
You make $300 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, and I don't
doing
want to
some
knock that
bar.
at all, but the market is the market is the market.
Right.
So it is one of those things where it's yeah, you can film yourself, and now with the internet, you can put your stuff up anywhere.
Mhm.
But I wrote more in the first 6 months I was in New York than I had in the first 3 years when I came back into stand-up.
Yeah.
Just because you're around a lot of the same comics at the same mics, and you're like, I don't want to be an asshole doing the same 5 minutes. Yeah. And also in the smaller markets, once you have like a good 5 to 10 minutes, you're now doing shows where you're like, well, I want to do my best 10 minutes. So it doesn't force you to write.
Right.
But in New York, and I can only speak to New York because that's my experience. I don't know about LA or Chicago, but in New York, it forces you to be like, well, I can't do new stuff at real shows because I want to get booked again.
Yep.
So I'm going to open mics, but I'm also not going to do the same 3 new jokes at 4 open mics in a row. Like then I'm going to look like a dickhead. Plus, you don't get any feedback because by the second time people have heard it, we're like, yeah, we've heard it.
Yeah, dude, that's why you have to go to so many different mics just to try to work out a bit. Like when I first moved here, I remember I would do like 3 to 5 open mics a night. I just get off work, and that was the rest of my day.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. So then all that stuff happens. You're taking care of your life. You're fixing everything up. COVID restrictions start to lift, and then you're like, now I'm doing it. Are you saving money at this point since you're living at home? You have
living
the
at
unemployment.
home, getting the unemployment.
And also you had that experience to where you're like, I need to have something in the bank to go to
and
New
I
York.
have
you got a credit card to get a credit
card to get the credit score, and I had a job
you had
lined
no
up.
score, just
Not
blank,
at
which is
all,
just as bad as having a bad score.
And then I got a job lined up when I moved out here the next time. And so it was like, yep, we're doing it.
Did you have an apartment, or did you stay with that same friend?
So I actually subletted that friend's apartment because he wanted to go back home.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
Yeah. And so I stayed there for 2 months and then got my own spot. Well, not my own spot, a different spot. And
I was going to say, if you had no roommates 2 months into living in New York,
wouldn't that be the craziest
I would have been like,
thing
that's
ever?
the podcast. Thanks everybody for listening.
Oh, I didn't know you were a trust fund kid this whole time.
So it worked out.
Well, we'll see. I'm
mean,
still doing it right now. But
I say this all the time, Zach. The hardest thing is getting here. And you know that from personal
Yeah,
experience.
100%.
I just got back from a tour in the Midwest. We did the Milwaukee Improv, and then we did a couple shows in Chicago. And they were like, what do you want your credit to be? And my headliner was like, say he's from New York. Like that's a huge credit to be a comedian from New York City.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part is getting here.
Getting here and staying here.
Yeah.
Because
I will edit that a little, just getting here. Because once you get here, you meet friends, you have comic friends. The staying here is relatively easy at that point. Because then it's like, I say this all the time. If Tracy and I, God forbid, something exploded in our home and we decided to call it quits, I have enough friends, or at least comedy acquaintances, to where I could be like, yeah, I need a place to stay.
Yeah.
And I have a good enough job to where it's like, yeah, I could find an apartment in a month. Like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what happened the last time when I moved here with my ex and then we broke up. You figure it out.
Yeah.
Because now you're here.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to figure it out when you're here than it is to be like, I want to move there.
For sure.
I tell people this all the time. You can have like 10 grand saved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or else you're paying you're paying rent with like last month's money. And you're like,
credit card. And
yeah, it was
for sure.
Needless to say, I did not have 10 grand saved up, so it was a bit of a tough spot.
But we're comics. None of us had 10 grand saved up.
So when you get here, you mentioned you had a job lined up, still video production, doing all that kind of stuff.
No, I was. So I lifeguarded, but I got paid. I was getting paid $25 an hour to lifeguard.
Didn't see that coming.
Right. That was like more. That was more than I was getting paid at my like job in Nebraska. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'll sit in lifeguard for $25 an hour. Are you kidding me?
Then you realize after taxes, you're like, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I was like, oh, this doesn't go as far as I thought it does.
I said when I first moved here, I got a job at the swanky restaurant I work at.
Yeah.
And my gross income for my first check in November, because November, December is the busiest time, was $3,600 for a week of work. And my actual check was $1,800. And I was like, I believe there's been a mix-up somewhere in accounting.
Yeah.
And they're like, welcome to New York. And I was like, I was so liberal in Florida. And then I moved to New York.
And then you moved to New York.
And you're like, Republican.
Yeah. Dude, so many taxes. Taxation is theft.
So what ends up happening as far as comedy? So you get here, obviously your goal is I'm going to move to New York for stand-up. So take us through your lifeguarding during the day and then what's going on?
Oh, dude, I was just busting out open mics, like 3 to 5 a night, every night.
Yeah.
Just that was my whole life. That was all spending all my energy doing. And then I finally got an opportunity to bark at the Pear.
Yeah.
And that was like, let me ignore that. And that was like early days of like, there was a small circle.
Yeah.
So if you got in, you were in.
Because that was the thing. And that's what I want to tell the listeners. Because you and I met at the Greenwich Village mic, one of those. And then we would run into each other on occasion at that mic. I didn't realize that you were doing like 9 other mics around the city. Because my whole thing was I would find a mic and it would force me to write more because I'd be like, I want to have 3 different 5 minutes for... Because I was one of those people where it's like, well, Greenwich Village has 4 mics, so I'll just stay here for the 4 mics.
Yep.
Instead of running from... Because I tried that when I first moved here. I'd go from Greenwich Village, Pear, over to Shop, back to Greenwich Village just to do mics.
Yeah.
And I was like, or I could just stay here and do the 4 here. You know what I mean?
So I would do that similar run. So I'd always be working on like a couple sets of things. So I would do like Greenwich Pear Shop, like that run. And then I'd go do 1 or 2 other late, because those ones are all early because they have shows at night. And then I'd go run and do 1 other 2 late ones.
Yeah.
So I could, and you basically only had a week to work out whatever you're working on. Because after that, you've seen everybody a bunch of times. They've heard it. They don't give a fuck anymore. You're not going to get any feedback.
I literally had a bit that I thought was hilarious, and I did it at a mic. And Espy, friend of the show, we love Espy Rivendanera, but I remember saying, I did the bit, and it was silence at the Pear. This is years ago. I go, I don't understand why that doesn't work. And then you just hear Espy's fucking ass from the back of the room. She goes, because we've heard it 4 times. And I was like, you son of a bitch. Yeah. You're supposed to be my friend.
Yeah. But it's so true.
Yeah.
Because you see the same people that are also trying to grind it out.
Yeah.
And fuck, I remember I was so excited to bark. Like looking back now, I'm like barking blows. But back then.
Well, and so that was the
like,
thing.
Dude, I'm going to get to do comedy in front of real people.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, yes.
So then when I would run into you, because I wouldn't see you at the Greenwich Village mics anymore, but I would run into you because you would be barking all the time.
Dude, I was barking like I'm.
Yeah,
like
every
a dog,
day.
no pun intended.
Yeah. But that was the thing, was because I was always, before my son was born, I would always do a lap around McDougal. And I'd run into comics. I'd say, hey, if it was someone that I was like close with, I would like sit and talk. But a lot of times I didn't like doing that because they're working. Like they're trying to bark. And I didn't want to be a dick and be like, so what's up, man? And then every Wednesday, I would go get food at Olive Tree. And that was like the thing I would do. So I work at a restaurant near there. Yeah. So I'd get off of work 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'd go do a lap around McDougal, and then I would come home, or I would try to get a spot somewhere. And I would see you out barking like every single night.
Yeah. I was barking 12 to 18 shows a week. God. I was just, and that's 2 hours for every single one.
Yeah.
So I'd bark, the most I'd bark 36 hours of barking.
Yeah.
I was just.
Did you get good at it?
Yeah. But that was also 2022-ish when everyone was so just excited to be out and they had money in their pocket from the stimulus. So it was easy.
You were just crushing.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There was a while. That's how I was paying my rent.
Oh, really? So you weren't lifeguarding anymore?
I quit lifeguarding because I was like, dude, I'm making $1,000 a week cash off barking. I'm just going to fucking do you know what I mean? And my rent, it was still COVID prices. So I think my rent was like $700.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, dude, I'm just going to fucking bark and that's it. And then, life starts to get back to normal a little bit. People start coming out, spending less money. I got to get a job again. I'm tired of barking, and you move on. And
well, and it's exhausting.
Yeah,
it's a lot of rejection. And I made the mistake when I first moved to New York. I was like, I've been doing comedy so long, I'll just go hang out at the Pear. I was like, I'll just go hang out at the Stand in the Cellar. And I didn't go to the Pear. I didn't go to Greenwich Village. I didn't associate really with Broadway except to do the industry room. Yeah, and so that bit me in the ass.
Yeah, those early like first foot in the door comedy clubs.
Because I didn't get into any of those because I'm hanging out at the Stand in the Cellar. And given I'm on the Stand's website and I get spots here and there, but I'm not like fully passed. Yeah. Like I get spots when one of the managers who I'm friends with wants to put me at. Like that's it. Like I'm not. And so it is a thing where I'm like, shit. And my wife is always like, well, can't you go back? I'm like, I'm not barking now. Yeah. Like I've established myself. I have 10,000 followers. I'm not going to fucking go bark.
Dude. Yeah, it's tough.
I have that weird, like my following is weird because it's not a lot. Like it's a lot for like an average person, but it's not, as far as comedians, it's like too much to where I was like, I don't want to bark because I'm my ego. Yeah. But then if I like compare it to like other comics who are past at like huge clubs, I'm like, oh, I'm not even like at a 10th of where they're at. So I'm like in this weird kind of viscous
limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of have a similar feeling to open mics where it's like, I'll never go back. Yeah. I just, especially in New York, I can't. They're the worst thing in the entire world.
I still go to open mics today, and you're absolutely right. I love the mics I go to because I love Drew who runs them, and I like the mics. But sometimes you just get a bad mic. And it's like there's 4 people there. And I literally got on stage today and I was like, we might as well record this and call this a podcast. Like it's 4 comics in a room.
And they're all looking at their notes and they
Yeah.
don't give a fuck.
One
about
woman
shit
was
to say.
wearing like big Bose noise canceling headphones today.
Yeah.
Like during everyone's set.
Yep. It's just.
I was like, you are too new.
Yeah.
It was like her 10th time being on stage. I was like, you are too new to like
To have
try
this
and
attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also social media is changing things because now it's like hanging or doing open mics. When you first start, of course, you need those
You
things.
have to,
but
yeah.
now I think your time is better spent making a reel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I still like to hang only because I love hanging out with comics.
Oh, yeah. It's the most fun.
But I fucking made an ass of myself last night. I went to the stand, say what's up to a couple people, and on my way out, I saw a very funny comedian that I'm friends with and said what's up to him. Met another very famous comedian who he's hanging out with, and I just word vomited. And I was telling my wife, I was like, I just wanted them to like think I was cool. So they're like, what's up? I was like, what's up with you guys? And they're like, oh, nothing. What's up with you? And I was like, well, I just went on a tour. I was at the Milwaukee Improv, and then I was in Chicago. That was pretty cool, you know, just doing the tour and stuff. I had a friend reach out to Mark Maron to come on my podcast. So that's pretty cool. And my wife was like, I'm getting embarrassed for you.
Yeah.
And I
Just
was
hearing you say it right now, I'm like, oh, because I know exactly what you're thinking.
I'm like, isn't this awesome?
Yeah, you want to like prove yourself. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm a real comic too, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I walked away literally as soon as I said it. I was like, okay, guys, well, I gotta go back. You know, I got a 2-month-old son at the house, so I'm gonna head home. And they're like, all right, cool, good to see you. And the other guy was like, nice to meet you. As soon as I turned around, I went, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Yep. And you can't take it back.
I can't turn around and be like, guys, I'm sorry, that was a little aggressive. That was embarrassing.
Dude, I had a moment like that with Bobby Kelly.
Yeah.
So I used to work
Fucking Bobby Kelly,
Yeah,
dude.
dude. I used to work on his podcast. I did fuck all. I was just there because I wanted to hang out and watch Bobby Kelly and learn from him and shit. But I was producing his podcast, helping produce his podcast, doing fuck all. And I had to go back home to Nebraska for a little bit. Found out my mom had brain cancer. She's chilling now. She's
Okay.
and they replaced me while I was gone, which like whatever, fair enough. They were gonna replace me anyway. I wasn't doing anything. I know I wasn't doing anything. And I come back and I see Bobby again. He's sitting with Ari Shafir. And I'm like, oh, I should go say what's up. I'm like, oh, hey, Bobby. And he's just kind of thrown off awkward. Like, oh, hey, Zach. Oh, how's it going? How's your mom? I was like, she's doing good. And he's like, we were just talking about you the other day. And I try to make like a lighthearted joke, like, oh, yeah, about how much I suck. But it's in my tone of voice. I heard it because I was just tired. Like physically.
Oh, no.
It sounded like,
You were being a dickhead
yeah, vindictive. Like, oh, yeah, how much I suck. Like,
because you replaced me?
yeah. But he's like, no. And I was like, it's okay, Bobby. I get it. You know, like,
Oh, no.
And-
you doubled down.
yeah, like, because in my head, I'm saying this as like playful and light,
But it's not coming across
but it's
that way.
not. And so Ari picks up on the tone that I'm getting, and he kind of gives me something back. Like, I was like, yeah, mom's doing, cancer stuff. And he was like, oh, that sounds fun, and Bobby tries to like defend it. I was like, no, I think what he means is da-da-da. And Ari's like, no, I was making a joke. I was like, yeah, it was funny. Like, so I tried to like save it at the end.
Yeah.
But I didn't introduce myself to Ari at all. I just completely ignored him and was just talking to Bobby.
Dude,
And I
know
love
what it
Ari.
is. Yeah, I
So-
don't know what it is in our brains where it's like, you got to prove yourself right now in this moment.
Oh, buddy.
Instead of just being like, hey, what's
man,
up,
what's
Bobby? Good to see you.
Yeah.
Like, and I, same thing. Instead of just being like, what's up, dude? Good to see you. I was like, oh, no, I just went on tour.
Yeah. Bro, and I walked.
I had a friend of a friend of a friend reach out to Mark Maron to maybe do my podcast.
Yeah. Fuck. And I walked away. And as I was walking away, in my head, somebody thinking I was like, botched that one.
Yeah, just fucked it.
botched that one so
God,
hard.
I'm gonna have it. And that's the other thing too is like, you're like, who cares? But it's like, I care.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm gonna. Like,
I just made myself look like an ass.
and you're gonna
I
see
can't
these
take it
people
back.
again.
Yeah.
This is our world that we live in.
Yeah. So if you could cut that up and then tag Bobby Kelly in it, so
I will.
he sees.
I'll tag Ari in it too.
Yeah, please. I'm sorry, Bobby. I still really love you.
So let's talk about it.
Sure.
Growing up in Nebraska,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a big. I want to know this because Omaha's a big enough city where this might not be the case.
Sure.
But I talk to a lot of people who grow up outside of obviously New York.
Mm-hmm.
Was it one of those things where it's like, oh, it's Nebraska. That's what we do is that we like party and we drink and we get after it. You were saying bonfires during
Yeah.
COVID and all that kind of stuff. Is that like part of the culture in
Oh,
Nebraska?
110%.
Okay.
Even though so they call Omaha like the biggest small town
Yeah.
because it is big, but there's still like not a lot to do
Okay.
past like your basic shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The movies, the mall. We don't We have like a tiny theme park. That's it.
Okay. When people are touring like big names, they obviously will try to make a stop in Omaha, but it's not one of those things where
if they can go to Kansas City instead, they will.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of my way I gauge it. Because like I grew up in Jacksonville, but we have the Jacksonville Theater and the Comedy Zone, and we're near the St. Augustine Amphitheater. So it's like we always get, like whenever anyone does a Florida run, they always stop in Jax.
If people stop in Omaha, they're either not doing that well or they're doing the one arena we have and they're doing really well.
Yeah.
If you're doing like pretty good, you're skipping it.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to Kansas.
So that's a good way to gauge it.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you like first got drunk? Like the first time you were like,
dude, first time I was 12.
God, of course you were.
But it was with my dad.
Are you going to make me clip this too?
No. I went on a hunting trip with my dad and my uncles, and we were like in, the hunting cabin in the middle of fucking the Santee Reservation. My family's part Native, actually, so we're out on the res and we're hunting, and it's nighttime. We're playing cards, and they're all having Captain and Cokes, and I'm the only younger one there.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to be a teenager, but everybody else is like a man.
Yeah.
And so my dad is, just kind of being loose with me because he's around all of his cousins and he's having a good time. And he's like pouring one. And I was like, can I have one? Like kind of jokingly. And he goes, stuff's over there. Go make yourself one. And I don't know alcohol quantities. I'm 12.
No. Oh, no.
So I took the Captain and just upside down. And then I did half and half between Captain Morgan and Coke and like a full size, like thermos coffee cup type thing.
That's too much, Zach.
I was stumbling. I was pretty fucked up. And and my uncle's like, I think he had a little too much there. And my dad's like, oh shit.
Did you get sick?
No.
Oh, good.
No. I didn't get sick from drinking until I was actually legally old enough to drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, when I was a teenager, we'd put it away. Like,
that's what I mean.
Full like fifth of rum or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd crush the whole thing in a night. And
so did you go to a big high school or a smaller high school?
I guess depends on who you ask. Big for the city.
Okay, that's yeah. Well, I'm asking you.
Well, my graduating class was 350.
Okay, so that's big.
For some people, yeah.
Mine was 529, but yes. I went to I lived in a big area. But 350 is big enough to where. See, because sometimes I'll have people on and I'll be like, oh, were you popular in high school? And they're like, my graduating class was 57 kids. So, yeah, I knew everybody, if that's what you're asking.
Right.
But for you, that's a big enough school where you would have cliques.
Yeah.
So were you in were you like playing sports, like doing the thing?
Yeah. So God, this sounds so douchey of me to say, but I'll say it anyway. I was homecoming king in high school.
Yeah, you fucking were.
And I went to a primarily black high school, which you wouldn't expect out of Omaha, but. So,
yeah, you said your last girlfriends were light skinned and then Latina.
I was king of the black people. Clip that one.
Yeah. Oh, Christ.
But no, my thing is,
I want to make that the title so bad, but there's no way. There's no fucking way. Just because in context it's funny, but out of context it's incredibly disparaging.
Especially with this mustache right now. I got cast to play a cop on Sunday, but normally I have a beard, but the mustache does not help what I just said.
No, not at all.
But whatever. So I did a little bit of everything.
Did you play sports?
I played 3 sports. I did a sport every season. I did drama. I was in honors classes. I partied with the party kids. Like I kind of knew everybody.
Okay.
So that was why.
Yeah. So then you're homecoming king. You're doing the thing. And that's always interesting to me because I didn't party in high school. In fact, I thought drinking was like the devil because I saw the way like my stepdad would act and people in my family would act. And I was like, oh, this is poison.
And then you got old enough and let it rip.
Not even. I was 18 and my sister invited me. My dad was out of town. She was having a little party.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, I was always a loner my whole life. And she was like, oh, if you want to come, I'm having people over. You can come. And my parents were divorced. So like we were supposed to be at mom's. Dad was out of town, so she was going to throw a party at dad's. And so I was like, wait, I can go? And I'll never forget. I did a shot, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, dude. The first time you get, like, fucked up as a teenager, this is the greatest thing in the entire world.
Why aren't we doing this all the time, guys?
Oh, my God. We, like, would get drunk and, like, there's this golf course. We just go run around on the golf course,
Done
do
that.
nothing, and then the golf course like security would come chase you and you'd run to the woods.
Yeah, that's the best
It
part.
was so fun. God, I remember.
So you were getting after it from
I was getting
jump.
after it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think first time I smoked weed, I was 16. I didn't really start drinking for real until like 17.
Okay. And then when you turned 21, you were just getting.
When I turned 21, I drank every single day of the week.
There you go.
I would have a couple beers Sunday through Thursday, and Friday and Saturday I was blacking out.
Just hammered.
It was a problem. I got
Sounds like.
after it all the time.
How long did that last?
3/4 of a school year.
Okay.
So 7-8 months.
Okay.
And then I was like, all right.
So you were able to rein it in, because
Yeah.
that was my problem. Was once I discovered how awesome drinking was for me and my anxiety and depression and stuff,
You just went
I
for
was
it.
like getting blacked out every day.
Yeah. Well,
And
so
I was like, I can't, especially because I was playing college football at the time, so you could only party on certain days,
right.
Because especially at a D1 school, it was like,
Oh,
hey,
where'd you play?
I played at Florida Atlantic University.
Oh,
Go
shit,
Owls!
look at you.
Ooh. But it was like, oh, this is a job.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't. I'm an addict by nature. So
Right.
when I was playing sports, I had something to dump my addict behavior into. I was like, I'll get up at 5 and do workouts, then go to class, then go to practice, then do more workouts. Because it was like something like
To
be-
pour yourself
yeah.
into, to take yourself out
Yeah.
of your
But
own
once I
thoughts.
stopped playing football, I got my 8th concussion and they're like, you can't play anymore. And I was only a sophomore. I was like, I don't know what to do with this extra 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
So, dude, I just started getting blacked out every day. 'Cause I was
8
like-
concussions and now you're blacking
Yeah,
out all
I
the
was like,
time.
dude.
Your poor brain.
Well, yeah, there's a reason I had to get sober. But I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But for you, it was like 8 months and you were like, hey, Zach, why don't you bring it in a little bit?
Well-
Why don't you tone it down?
Caveat, so the summer before I turned 21, when I was 20, I went and backpacked around Europe for 3 months.
Okay.
And I just drank every single day real hard
Yeah.
for a whole summer. It was the best 3 months of my freaking life.
Yeah.
I was 20 in Europe getting fucked up all the time. It was awesome. And so then when I came back, I was like, all right, I just drank a bunch. Like I can chill out till I'm 21.
Okay.
And now I'm 21 and I can start going out with my friends and I can start meeting girls. And like, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go for it, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can only throw up and be an ass so many times before you're like, God damn it, dude. You know what I mean? Just
You can only say I suck to Bobby Kelly so many times
yeah,
until you're like, God damn it.
Bobby, please. He's not. I hope he sees this, but
So what ends up happening? Because you sent me a bunch of stories, but we haven't even gotten to any of them. We're gonna have to have you back on because we have the Jaden's 21st, Bari, Brazil, New Year's rave.
yeah.
I want to ask you about Europe though, because that wasn't on the list. But you said
So,
you were drinking every day.
Bari, Italy is
Okay.
one of them. That is Europe.
Okay, let's talk about it.
It was just one of the sickest nights of my entire life.
What happened?
So we're in this small little fishing town.
So wait, real quick. 3 months in Europe.
Yeah.
What was the plan? Did you go there
So
with a plan?
I went
was it with a
I
group?
went alone. I had a route that I wanted to do, and I was just gonna backpack around Europe and see Europe and live
Stay in
life and
hostels,
stay
do
in
the things,
hostels.
yeah.
Yep. I got a train pass.
Where did you fly into?
Flew into London. Flew out of Dublin. So I did a giant loop.
Okay.
And I met up with these two other guys.
It's the train, the Euro
Yeah,
rail
yep.
that you
Yeah.
can get anywhere with that,
Pretty
right?
much.
Okay.
Yeah. And I met these two other dudes who are Americans, and we ended up tagging along with each other for a good chunk of the trip. And one of them had family from Bari, Italy. And so he's like, I want to go there. And the two of us were like, we don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you
Bari,
sent me
Italy.
Bari, and I was like, I don't
Yeah.
even know what the fuck
Yeah.
that is.
And so
And I'm a pretty well traveled guy.
yeah, so we go. It's just like a smaller like fishing village. It's where your like Italians would go to like chill out,
Okay.
but you're not really getting any tourists there.
Yeah.
Um,
That my brother lives in San Sebastian in Spain,
yeah,
and he's like, it's where a lot of the Europeans go to vacation.
yeah. The closest thing is there's this like hike called Cinque Terre that's like really popular. It's like these 5 small like fishing villages and
Okay.
vineyards. They overlook the Mediterranean. It's pretty sick. But we didn't really care about being in Bari. So we're like, yep, let's hang out with these 2 British chicks that we met. And
Oh, and then you were telling the other guy, like, go ahead to Bari.
Yeah,
we're
well,
going to hang here.
no, we were in Bari, but he's
Oh,
like,
you
I'm
went
going to go like see where my family is
Okay.
and meet up with them. And I'm like, cool, we're going to get fucked up with these British chicks. And beer was €1. It was €1 for beer. And it was good beer.
It's like $1.75.
Yeah.
That's
and
cheap.
it was open.
Wait, scratch that. It's like 75 cents.
Yeah.
Euro's worth more than $1. right?
That would make it like $1. It was like,
Yeah.
I think it was.
I had it right the first time.
When I was there, it was like $1 was 90 cents to a euro.
Then it's the
You know what I mean?
fucking
So it's
same thing.
basically $1. It's
Yeah.
10-cent difference. So
I thought for some reason I thought the euro was like worth like double.
no.
Oh, okay.
It's like barely better than ours, I think. Because America's better by a lot. But anyway,
Fuck yeah. Team America.
that's
Fuck
right,
yeah.
buddy.
Save the
Nebraska and
world.
Florida, we have to represent.
Right. Motherfucking day now. So hanging with the British chicks.
Getting fucked up for like dollar beers and eating good just street food, and they stayed open all night because the bars would stay open really late, and then the fishermen would get up early as fuck, maybe knock one out before they go on their boat, and so we were able to drink literally all night. And then we go to the beach, and the girls are like, "Why don't we skinny dip?" And we're like, "Fuck yeah, let's skinny dip." And we skinny dipped on the beach, and we like swam out to like these rocks that were further out. We climbed up on top of it. The sun is coming over the Mediterranean.
Wow.
You see all these like little small Italian fishing boats on the horizon. They're just like shadows, like the pink sun. And I'm fucked up. We got these naked British chicks like laying on us. We're like, dude, this is the sickest night of my fucking life.
You went to Bari.
Yeah, it was great.
Shout out to
It
Bari.
was great. It was,
So would you say in your drinking career that's probably the greatest experience that you had?
it's definitely top 5.
Yeah, it's gotta be, right?
Yeah, it was amazing, dude. That's one of those nights where you're like, okay, drinking isn't a problem.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You're the problem. This isn't the
Yeah,
problem. This is awesome.
This is the best.
So what ended up because we're gonna have you back on to go through all these other stories, but what ended up happening? You said that you have taken a not a break, but you said you have slowed way down now.
Yeah, I just was gaining weight, and I didn't want to gain weight anymore.
Yeah.
'Cause, drinking back on the
Oh
pounds.
yeah. It's empty calories.
And I just
I
it's
thought you were gonna-
expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
I honestly thought you were going to say something profound like, well, you know, just my comedy career, I wanted to focus on that. You're like, nah, I was getting fat and it was too expensive.
Yeah, I was getting fat. It cost a lot of money, and I did want to like, you know.
I thought, honestly, I was setting it up the whole time thinking you were going to have this like profound experience.
No, I
and you're
still like getting fucked up. I just
No.
now it's like I just now I do it in moderation.
Yeah.
Now if I will still get fucked up, but it's got to be an occasion.
It's got to be for a reason.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody's birthday, or I
You don't
probably-
do the like random Tuesday anymore.
no. Well, unless the vibes are really good.
Yeah.
But that's
But
like
then that's an
once
occasion.
in a blue moon.
That's-
Yeah. You know, you meet up with a friend and you're like, oh, hey, what's up? And you have a beer, and then it turns into a couple of beers. Next
Yeah.
thing you know, you're getting drunk. But that happens like once or twice a year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I would say I probably drank 2 times a month on average.
Okay.
So in
So that's
12
way
months,
down.
I drank like 24 times.
Yeah, that's way down from every day.
Yeah, I cut back a lot. Part of it is the comedy stuff. You're grinding so much comedy wise.
Mhm.
You're spending all your time writing, doing sets, whatever. It's
Will
like,
you, other than the shrooms thing at the Pear, do you now, especially being older,
Mhm.
will you drink before sets, or are you one
no,
of the?
I go stone cold sober before every set.
yeah.
Maybe I'll have a drink with a friend, like a beer with a friend afterwards, and
Yeah.
shoot the shit. But I used to need a drink before I could go on stage,
Of course.
and now it's like I won't go on stage
Yeah, and that's the
with
experience.
anything in my system.
I used to get so drunk before I would do shows,
Yeah.
mainly mics.
Yeah.
But this is when I was like, 21, 22,
Mhm.
when I first started doing comedy. And then obviously I'm not doing, like we talked about, I'm not doing it consistently. It was a reason to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, I don't drink at all. I've been sober a long time, but I'll see comics get on stage like kind of fucked up, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "What? We're not in like the small town. You like this is
Right.
New York City.
This isn't Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Yeah,
yeah.
like this
gotta bring
is the thing.
Yeah.
This is why people come to this city is to see stand up.
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons I had to, when I first started barking and doing shows at the Pear, like I was making a bunch of money. I was so happy to be there. I'd have some drinks. I'd go on stage a little fucked up sometimes, and I'd get a heckler, and then I'd try to like shoot back at them. And there was 1 or 2 times, I don't remember the details, but I lost a heckler interaction.
Yeah,
And it was totally because I was too fucked
you weren't
up
there. Yeah,
to have a good retort.
yeah.
And I remember, or like,
You're just like fucking. You're gay.
yeah, exactly. And I remember
like,
thinking,
what?
like, I'm never going to do that again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I need to be as sharp as I can. Or you like write a new part of a bit and then you miss it because you're fucked up. And
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, we missed plenty of new parts of bitch.
Oh,
just
yeah, being sober.
Yeah.
So I don't need the extra handicap.
And also what we've already talked about. I've said this before on this show, but it's so true. I have made an ass out of myself plenty of time. I was sober 8 years, and I still, like last night, say something where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, dude.
Like, I don't need to get fucked up to do that.
The fun part is, what I think the difference is, when you're sober, you realize right away, like,
Yeah.
I just made an ass of myself. When you're fucked up,
You're like,
you
I
spend
was
the rest
great.
of the night like, I'm the man. And
crushed that.
yeah, and then the next day you wake up and you're like, God damn it.
You're like, I crushed that interaction.
Or did you ever have the ones where you fucked up in the moment while you're drunk? You knew you fucked up, but you also went, I'll worry about that tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's tomorrow.
That's future
problem.
Brennan's problem.
Yep.
I used to say that all the time. And also, this is something with you not drinking as much and me not drinking at all. This is something that I have learned is I've lost my best excuse.
Yeah, I was drunk.
I can't. I
Yeah.
can't be like, my bad. I had a little too much to drink. Sorry about that. Like now, it's all about like, especially in the super secret program I'm in. It's like trying to be a better person.
Right.
So like if I do something. Normally, 99.99% of the time, it's never out of malice. Like last night, it was embarrassing, but I didn't do anything wrong. Like I wasn't rude.
No, you're
or anything.
nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every once in a, but like that's the shitty part is like now when I run into that comic who's like an acquaintance, if not a buddy of mine, I can't be like, my bad, I was fucking being weird. I was wasted, dude. Like I was
Yeah.
just so excited. Now I have to be like, no, I just really wanted you guys to like me, which I'm not.
Which
gonna
I think
do.
is actually more funny and endearing.
It's more endearing, but
Yeah.
I'm never gonna fucking do that.
If you go like, hey man, I'm sorry. I was nervous and I was trying to look cool. And then I think it's like,
I honestly might do that.
yeah, I think that's like, if somebody came to me and said that, I would laugh and be like, you're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You're good.
Because now I just look like a guy, like God. Anyway, it's good though. It's good. Because even when you walked in, I was like, dude, you lost weight. Like you look like you're taking great care of yourself.
Thanks, man.
You mentioned the acting gig. Are you doing a lot more acting now?
Not at all. Just for some
This is
reason,
one thing.
dude, for some reason this week, 2 people have hit me up to act and shit. I like don't act at all. But
Yeah, I don't either. And when sketches, I mean, they're still big, but you know the algorithm changes like
Yeah.
every year. When sketches were like a huge thing and all of our friends were doing sketches, same thing. People would reach out and be like, hey, can you play this whatever? And I'd be like, yeah, sure.
yeah,
It's like, I don't act, but okay.
Same.
How
yeah.
hard can it be? We're playing pretend.
And you know, if it's like somebody I'm friends with, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, I'll show up, I'll do it. But most of the time, it's just like not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't think. Like,
Take 3 trains to go somewhere for 20 minutes, and they're like, all right, we got it. And you're like, cool.
yeah, like,
And then it comes out and it
hey,
gets like
can you deliver
150
one line in a delivery outfit? And yeah, you're on the train for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't get paid for it. It gets 700 views.
Yeah, and you're like,
sick,
I could have just
cool.
cut a reel
Yeah,
of my
100%,
stand-up.
dude. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, if it's a buddy, then whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But
That's the other thing too is I don't know about you, but remember last year front-facing camera was like the big thing.
Dude,
I have too much
yeah.
shame to do that.
really,
Yeah.
so
And I get on stage and talk about being into butt stuff.
yeah,
But like if I pull my phone out and I start talking to it, I'm like, you're a piece of shit, you're worthless, put your phone away, nobody
it
fucking
feels
cares.
so egocentric
Yeah.
and gross, but it's just kind of because I completely understand what you're saying. It is just something I had to like force myself to do, and then you start to get more comfortable with it.
Yeah, because I had to same thing. I had to force myself to do it.
Yeah.
There's a back alley where my apartment is. So a lot of times when I would walk to the subway to work, I would film as I was walking down the
Yeah.
alley because very few times people were in there. But sometimes there would be like employees of like the storefronts, and
And you're
They're
just walking
smoking
down
a
the street
cigarette.
like this.
dude, I immediately would just put my phone away and go, "Well, we lost today's shoot."
Yep. Because you know, I actually kind of, I don't know if envy is the right word, but you know, like the dumb like TikTok girls you'll see like in the middle of fucking
I hate it.
Bryant Park, Washington Square Park, who are literally like this and like talking to us. And
I want to push them.
no, yeah, it makes me repulsed, but they don't give a fuck, dude.
No.
They're just doing it.
Shame's gone for them.
Yeah, and it's kind of
I
like
see it at the restaurant I work
you
at.
kinda
People come
need
in
it
and
a
they're like
little bit.
filming their food, and I just
Yeah.
want to take like a spoon and like just smash their food. And be
Yeah.
like, nobody fucking cares.
yeah,
I have twice as many followers as you. Don't give us a shit.
yeah, but it's like that mentality of just like fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it.
People love
whatever.
it. People eat it up too
Yeah,
online.
you just kind of have to.
It's
Um,
weird too because the front facing thing. Because I love movies and I have a bunch of bits about movie lines, and I was like, oh, I'll do that as like the front facing video, like movie lines that I still use in real life. And I thought, Zach, for sure, like, that'll be my thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be the movie line guy.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
1,000 views here, 1,200 views there.
Yep. Dude,
like,
it's
cool.
so ridiculous what works. And what I've fallen into a couple times is I found something that worked, and it's like, I don't want to be that guy. And so even though it works, I will pivot away from it, which I think long term will do me good. But
short term,
I fucked myself.
My thing is restaurants.
Yeah.
I have like 2 or 3. I have a bunch of bits about celebrities that I've waited on, but I have like 2 or 3 bits about like the grittiness, like working as a server.
Yeah.
Like if you don't tip, fuck you. Like those kind of bits.
Yeah.
And those absolutely destroy online.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't want to be
that
restaurant guy.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm doing all this to get out of
the restaurants. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be like if you don't tip, fuck you. Ah, Kill Tony style. Like,
And also, how many times can you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I had a similar thing where if I just said, insert this type group of women are hot, it would blow up. Like, oh, especially if it was like, for whatever reason, whenever I went online and I talked about Latinas being like hot or like being into Latinas, like I'm a white dude and I like Latinas, or I'm a white dude and I like black chicks or Asian chicks, whatever, that would just pop.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And I was like, fuck, I can't be.
Do I want to be that guy?
I can't be that guy that's always like, fucking, yeah, I'm white, but Latinas. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
dude,
I can't do that forever. So.
You can't.
No.
Especially when you start dating someone.
I mean, yeah.
You start dating an Asian chick and you're like, I'm into black girls. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, this was a blast.
Yeah.
You got to come back on because we still
definitely
have Brazil, New Year's rave, Jaden's birthday we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Plug everything up front. Social media, where everyone can find you, all the stuff.
Zachary Unlimited on Instagram. I will have a podcast drop eventually if you don't watch this on time and you watch this way later.
What, you're coming out with the podcast?
I am. I'm trying to wait until I get 10.
Okay.
And then drop it all at once.
What's the name of the show? Can you tell us?
Yeah, it's gonna be called Old Jokes Home when I eventually get to the 10.
Okay.
But because I don't want to be another like episode 1, on my story, and then no one ever sees anything from it again.
So this is the thing. Consistency is key.
Yeah,
I've released an episode, hell or high water. An episode goes out every single week of this show, and sometimes it fucking sucks. Like now, I've got episodes banked. The show has gained traction in the last few years. People want to come on. It's become a thing.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot easier. But dude, there were times where I was calling buddies like, hey, I know I'm in New York. You're in Jacksonville. You got to do a Zoom call. I got to get an episode out.
Yeah.
So 100% do bank as many as you can.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, bank, if you're going to do it every week for like, because some of my friends now, some of our friends do seasons, which is so smart. I wish I would have done that. But I was told when I first started, it has to be niche, which is why we talk about the drinking stories, and it has to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because if you stop posting for like 3 months, people stop listening.
Yeah.
And so, dude, bank as many as you can. Bank a year's worth if you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody
honestly,
cares. It doesn't. There's no timestamps. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. But
Dude,
yeah,
it's
so
called
eventually-
Old Jokes Home.
Yeah. Instead of Old Folks Home.
What's it about?
So, who knows what it's eventually going to end up being about? What it started off as is I would bring. I've only done like 5 episodes, but I'd love to get you on sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring comics on. We have
That's
them
why I was
bring
asking
their-
what it was about.
Bring their oldest joke book, and then just go
Sit
over
right
their,
over there.
Yeah, go over like your first bits.
It's gonna
The
be
stuff,
horrific.
Yeah, the stuff you thought was killer. And then,
I thought I was going to be the next like Howard Stern, Anthony
Yeah.
Jeselnik. It's a
And-
lot of shit.
yeah, and everybody's like that. Their first couple bits are like, yo, that's crazy. But just kind of
Your brain thought of that.
yeah, just kind of laughing at how much we all stunk when we first started.
Absolutely.
But then my co-host, he developed an app where what his app is, it's kind of, the Newlywed Game?
Yeah.
So it's kind of semi-similar. It's like a scenario. And then you get multiple choice, like 4 multiple choice question or answers from the scenario. Like, what would you do? You pick yours. You try to guess what the other person would pick. And then if you guess theirs right, you get a point.
Oh, there you go.
And so we're doing it like that on the back half of the episode and my thing on the front half of the episode.
So it's just, you really don't know what the show is.
We're just having fun.
Kind of doing
We're
a
just having
thing.
fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It might.
Old Jokes Home I like. I like
Yeah,
that concept.
I like the old notebook part, but I don't think it has sustainability because I only can bring on people so many times and look
Yeah.
at their first joke book so many times.
Well, and also from a purely and now we're just getting into logistics. Sorry, listeners, but from a purely just marketing standpoint, like I don't give a shit. Like we were talking about earlier, I'm an open book. But one thing I have experienced with this show that you might experience with that is some people being like, no, my jokes are so horrific, so offensive, so whatever. There's no fucking way I'm
that
gonna
I can
do
read
that.
those.
Yeah.
What I've decided, I think it's a good thing to do for the first time we have somebody on.
Yes.
And then if we bring somebody back on again, then we just shoot the shit and do the hypotheticals.
Dude, we figured it out. Look at that. Dude. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T. Comedy on social media, BrennanTComedy.com. Shows in the Midwest went awesome. I'll be around New York for the next couple of months until January. So check everything out there. Subscribe on Patreon. We do have the regulars. We do every other week with Michael Thomas Geary. We're starting that in September. So email in drinking stories, party stories. If you were a good drinking buddy, bad drinking buddy, find that all on patreon.com/Brennan Tassif. We'll talk to y'all next week. Boom.